Okay, so now we can move on to the next part, and we've done so that they can select one case. All we have to do for the RAM and the hard drive is just copy what we've just done and just amend it so that it has the right items that we're printing out effectively. So for the RAM, we are looking for 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so let's have a look. We're not selecting a case, but we'll select all of this. Okay, I'm going to copy all of that, and I'm going to then paste it under here. I'm just going to put a comment in actually, and just say select RAM, and actually I'll put here select case as well. Select case. Select RAM, and I'm going to paste that. Now really the main thing we need to change is this here, our range, and we're going to go from 2, I think it's going to be 2 to 5. So let's just double check that. I think that's going to be right. It might be 2 to 6, and this is going to be RAM. So we change our description here as RAM. So the only other thing we need to do as well is we're not doing case, we're going to do RAM, and it's going to be RAM index and RAM there, and RAM index and RAM index there. I think that's going to be right. Let's run it and see. So I'm just, the only thing I'm really worried about is this bit here. I think the numbering might be slightly wrong. So let's run it and see. Run one module, and I'm just going to pick a case as I did before. Right first time. There we go. Good. I like it when I'm right first time. So I'm going to select a RAM. Let's pick. Let's have lots of RAM. Let's go for it big time. And yeah, there we go. So our receipt has our case, which is compact 75, and then our RAM 32 gig. Brilliant. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so that's our RAM. So it's once we've got the first one done, it's really easy to do the rest. Let's do the next one, which is going to be to select a hard disk. So select hard disk. Let's have a look at the, here we go. So we've got our main hard disk drive, and we've got C1, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be 5, 6 and 7. So 5, 6 and 7. Oh, did you spot the error there as well? That needs to be select RAM. There we go. It's very easy when you do copy and paste to leave things in that you shouldn't have done. Okay, so let's select our main hard drive. We'll call it main hard drive. Okay, which is usually a magnetic drive. Oops, let's try that again. Usually a magnetic drive, not always, but it does tend to be because they're cheaper. Main hard drive, please select a main hard drive, and it's going to be, what did I say, 5 to 8, I think. Let's try 5 to 8. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case, but we can check it in a minute. And then we need to change our variables, so I'm just calling it main HDD. Main HDD, main HDD, main hard drive, main HDD index. I'll just copy that and append it here. Okay. I think that's right. So again, just pause that, make sure you got it right. Again, the main thing I'm worried about here is that number there. So let's run it and see. So I'll pick a case, pick some RAM, and then pick a main hard drive. So C1, pick a small one. And that looks good. I'm happy with that. I might just change some of the way that it prints all the items that you can have out. I don't know. I might change that. But you can do that all afterwards, you know, make it look a bit prettier. Good, so now we can move on to the next part of task 1. And the final part of task 1 is to calculate the price of the computer using the cost of the chosen items and the basic set of components. So if you remember, it said further up here that it's $200 for the basics, and that will be the motherboard, the power, and the CPU. So we're already storing and outputting the chosen items, but we might do that in a prettier way. But calculating the price is really easy, actually. So the price of the items, all we're going to do is add up everything in our order price table and the basic cost. So actually what we really should do is add to our order, add to our append here, right at the start, the basic cost of the computer. Okay, even before we select a case. So I'm going to go back up here under my welcome message, and I'm going to say append, and I'm going to say basic component cost. What did they call it in there? They called it just basic set of components. So basic components, and that is going to be it. It's just that, basic components, nothing else. And then the price, the order price, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to append $200. Okay. You could put 00 as well, like that. So let's just test that, because that happens for every computer. Let's just test that. Run one module. And just test it all again. B2, C3. Good, so our basic components are there, first in the list, and then we're adding the compact case, etc. Okay, so now we need to print this out nicely. So although this is technically debug, these two print lines here, I'm going to actually print out everything nicely, and I'm going to use a for loop to do that. So the best way to do this is to do a for loop and 0 to the length of the order price array, and just print everything out. So we're going to do print, and we're going to print order, index, and then we're going to print order price, index. And that should print it out nicely. Let's check that. So lots of testing. It's always the way with software, always lots of testing. So let's try again. A1, just do B1, C1. There we go, good. So the basic components 200, compact case 75, RAM 79, main hard drive 49. And the last thing we need to do is just add up the price together. Now there's a number of ways we can do this. We could use the for loop, or we could just use sum, and sum will do that nicely for us too. So technically I suppose I should probably do it that way, but because I'm just thinking about in the exam, they're probably going to ask you how you added it up. So we can use sum. Sum is a function, a predefined library function, so a bit more revision there for you for the second exam. They might ask you about library functions. Library functions is just code that of functions that other people have written that are part of the operating system, part of the Python system, Python programming language. Print is a predefined library code. Range is another one. Anything that's in purple, as you can see, is basically a predefined function, library code. And sum will just add everything up. So what we could do, a really quick way, is just to do print and then sum order price. Okay, and that will add everything up. So let's run that. It's a really quick, simple way, and it's the way that most people do it. So let's just pick everything. B2, C3, and there we go, there's our total. Now you could use a for loop that just adds everything up as well. I might just also add there some text that says total price, something like that too, just so that it's nice and neat, and just put a comma, just run that, just check that works okay. Is my syntax right? I think so. B2, C3. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, so you could use a for loop. I'll add it anyway. You don't have to. Actually, it's just basically this here. This will add up the price as well. It's sort of the manual way. And all we're doing is we're saying total price equals plus equals the order price index there. Now we need to set total price to be 0 before we start. Total price equals 0. And then we print that out at the end. So we would just print total price like that, and then total price. So I don't know which way, I mean, yeah, the only reason I'm showing you this second method is they might ask you in the exam how you did it, and it shows that you know more how to do it, but actually there's no reason why they shouldn't give you marks for using sum, because it's a predefined function. Anyway, it's up to you. Let's run it anyway, just check it. Always test your code. Oh, I've got invalid syntax because I've left a curved bracket on there. Let's get rid of that. Run again. P3, C1. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so now we can move on to task 2.